Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the South Campus Show with our guest today, Steve Ritz from Chaska. Good friend. Steve, welcome.
Great to be here and join you.
Thank you.
Looking forward to our chat.
Thank you. Steve is a resident of Chaska, as I said, a member of Guardian Angels Parish. Just to start, Steve, where are you from and where'd you go to school?
I'm originally from St. Peter, and so that's where I went to high school. And my collegiate career started at Gustavus. I have my bachelor's from Gustavus Adolphus College there in St. Peter. And then I started my master's work at North Dakota State in Fargo. And I was a grad assistant there. I was coaching football and studying graduate work there. And then I was fortunate enough to find an opportunity to get my foot in with the Minnesota Vikings, and I worked on their strength staff for 3 seasons during the Denny Green era, and continued my graduate work at Mankato State. Then it was called Mankato State, now Minnesota State Mankato. Mm-hmm. Completed my master's in exercise physiology with also a component of cardiac rehab. So worked with phase 3 and phase 4 cardiac rehab patients from Emmanuel St. Joe's Hospital in Mankato. Then after that, I worked for the Cleveland Indians for a season. And then I was out at Villanova University, a Catholic institution in suburban Philadelphia. Worked on their strength and conditioning staff with all kinds of athletes from crew, field hockey, volleyball, basketball. They're known for their basketball especially. Mm-hmm. And then I moved back to Minnesota and started a company called Fitness First of Minnesota Incorporated. This November will be our 24th year. So It's a private company that I founded 24 years ago.
I just learned stuff about you I didn't know before, but you've got quite a background. I know the journey takes you from one place to another, and of course at Mankato State, Minnesota State, you were involved in football. I know that.
At Gustavus, I played collegiate football at Gustavus.
Right, at Gustavus, I should say, not Mankato. Yep. And kind of went from there. Did some coaching too, I hear. Yep. And then got into strength and conditioning, and so your career took you to Fitness First. Say a little bit more about Fitness First.
Well, Fitness First, our 4 uniques are we're appointment-only strength clinics, so we're classified by the state and insured as clinical. So it'd be like an eye clinic, a dental clinic, a medical clinic. So it's all appointment only. So that's our first unique. So it's different than a come and go as you please health club or small fitness studio or community center. The second unique is I am fortunate enough and blessed to have some great, reliable employees. They are employees, they're not independent contractors, so all the staff actually are employees. And they have a bachelor's at a minimum or master's in exercise physiology. They're also trained, certified through the American College of Sports Medicine as exercise physiologists. And our third unique is we have professional commercial grade equipment, unlike you'll find at your come and go as you please cookie cutter health club. Mm-hmm. It was originally designed for medical institutions or professional athletic arenas. And then the fourth unique is we customize what we call an exercise prescription, catered to people's strengths, weaknesses, goals, objectives, desired outcomes. And it's implemented on that appointment-only basis. So 10, 11, we have some right now, 11-year-old up to people in their 80s and 90s, but the common denominator is people value, recognize, and appreciate the need for strength in their journey, whether that's athletic journey, general health and wellness. It's very, very diverse clientele with goals and objectives.
Wow. So what do you hope to inspire in those part of the Fitness First program? Well,
for people to have a healthier, happier life, and we understand that it's multifaceted. It's not just the evident physical domain. Most people, that's fairly evident, but it's the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual domains of health and wellness. It's like a table having 4 legs. In order for that table to stand as sturdy as it's designed to stand, you need all 4 legs. You pull a leg on that table, it'll still stand, it won't collapse down to the floor, but it's not going to stand as stable as it's intended or it's designed to stand.
So the 4 legs,
physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual.
Cool.
And we're very dynamic beings. We're organic, and there's 2 things, you're either growing or we're decaying, whether that's physically or spiritually. Even we're growing closer to God or we're drifting away. Intellectually, we should always be learning. It's lifelong learning. Emotionally, we learn way more from our failures and our trials and tribulations than our successes.
Amen.
And so it's just about all of that. And growth requires a temporary surrender of security. And the comfort and security that goes with us as being mortal, controlling beings is not growth provoking. So it's understanding that we don't produce results, we stimulate. And that stimulation that comes from challenges physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
I think you kind of touched on a question I had, like in the health and wellness business, which you're in, the connection between the physical aspect of wellness and this emotional and spiritual aspect of wellness. I think you're talking about that.
Yes. The longer I've been in this field, I realize how little it has to do with the physical domain. It's so much more to do with the mental and emotional. If we want to look at mentally, the component of setting up a goal, because but then having a plan and being prepared to work that plan, because a goal without a plan is merely a wish. And that's the intellectual or mental side. Emotionally, making sure that it's an even keel. You're not too high, you don't get your dauber down, you're too low. And as I said, the spiritual component, that's because of the organic nature of us, that we're either growing closer or growing away. And then the body can achieve what the mind can conceive, and it really starts with having the key to unlock our physical potential is those mentally having that goal, emotionally being realistic. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and then dealing with the spiritual component as well.
And I feel like I should have been taking notes here. This is so good, but I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
So, like Michaela Schifrin, had a disappointing performance in the Olympics, but I was really impressed, and I didn't see it, I heard about her interview, was, you know what, didn't do as good as I wanted, I was disappointed, but next week we got a race in wherever.
Yep.
And it's on to the next one. It was like she wasn't devastated by this, kind of evening out the highs and the lows. It seemed she had some grasp of the emotional and spiritual, mental side of this too.
Well, life's full of peaks and valleys, and I think the key or the challenge for all of us is to keep an even keel and a sensible approach to those, and try to keep things more, not get too high, not get too low, and we learn way more from our failures than our successes. And I don't believe there's anything that's negative in life. There's certainly plenty of things that are less than pleasurable, but if you have the right attitude and the right effort, those are and will be the most growth-provoking opportunities. I think in life, we look through the windshield, it's usually muddy, and I shouldn't say usually, but occasionally very muddy, but in the rearview mirror, everything's crystal clear, and that comes into the spiritual domain. Is you hear about, if you want to make God laugh, tell God your plans, and He has a plan for us, and there's certainly a story behind the way I ended up in Chaska and how I started Fitness First. It wasn't intentional. My intent, it wasn't my plan, but it evidently was God's plan, and I had no connection to Chaska and had no real designs on opening a company 24 years ago, but again, in the rearview mirror, it becomes clear.
Yeah, interesting. And, and with competitive sports, you hear it say, sometimes we become our own worst enemy. It's in our head, it's mental, and not to be too devastated, disappointed, but you come back and you work at it and set your goals. And like a goal
without a plan is merely a wish.
A wish, and so on. So keep working at it. And I can say, folks, that I'm with Fitness First, and I love it. It's just a good discipline for me, and with Stephen Covey says, put your big rocks in your calendar at the front end of the week, and that's what I do. And it's a break from the work I do here in the parish, which I love, but kind of it brings in a physical dimension and everything else. It's great. It's great. Tell us a little bit about, I know you're a member of Guardian Angels, your involvement there.
Yes. Regular parishioner, actively, not only present in the parish, but strive to be engaged. And the two main ministries right now are I lecture, and I like to claim the Word. And personally, it's a way to get prepped for the weekend liturgy, and when I practice or prep the readings and read the first and second reading. And then the second is there's a ministry at Guardian Angels called Homebound Ministry, where we bring the church to those that are shut in by bringing communion. So we greet and have some beginning pleasantries and exchange just what's going on with them, and then start with a prayer and offer communion and close with a prayer. And we also bring them the church bulletin, and so those are the two main ministries.
Yeah.
And sell for our fall festival, Angel Fest. Sell tickets for a raffle. That's my big thing. I've always been a salesman.
Every parish needs a guy like you.
Yep.
You know? Give me
And then
those tickets. I'm going to get rid of them for
Yep.
you. Yeah.
And then through the years, I've done other things like children's liturgy and Sunday school. But
Yeah.
I try to have balance, and those are my two ministries. That's my rule. I'll take two, and if they want me to add something, I'll subtract that.
A smart guy.
So I just try to think.
Our schedules only hold so much.
Yeah, and then I try to be charitable of my time, talents, and treasures throughout the community, not just church, but I volunteer for Chaska fishing with friends, and we get out seniors, from senior care facilities and veterans and things like that, and then the Chaska Cubs amateur baseball. And so I was raised that way with my mom and dad, and just again try to put your tentacles out, and I think that's why I do. It's not all about the church, and it's not all about civic groups and all that sort of stuff.
Well, from Chaska, or I should say St. Peter, to Villanova, Philadelphia, North Dakota, back to Chaska. I love the way you're engaged in the community and at many levels. It's beautiful. Liz, you want to get the magic hat?
Oh.
And this is an unrehearsed question.
Okay.
That we pull out at the magic hat.
This isn't Karnak. This isn't
A second
Johnny Carson. Is your hat just like the envelope on Johnny Carson late night? You remember he had that?
Hermetically sealed mayonnaise jar. People remember. So, Steve, we're going to wrap up with a question from the magic orange hat. See what it says.
Am I supposed to read it, or you?
You read it.
What is your favorite kind of entertainment? Why? Well, I would have to say engaging with the outdoors, because of the serenity it provides. So I like to hunt and fish, and I just went out this past Saturday with my friend down on a lake down by Elysian, Waterville, Elysian, Morristown, and in a spear house. And he speared a northern, and just the serenity that nature provides. Before we went on with the show, we were talking about the ravine here by your house, and just the peace that you have in the backyard. So I just think disconnecting and having God talk to us through nature and all the gifts that it has to offer.
Absolutely. And the cool thing of Minnesota, all 4 seasons, love to be outside. And each season has its own personality, if you will, and it's wonderful. But Steve, it's been so good having you on. I learned a ton.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you. And we'll see you Friday.
Sounds good. I appreciate the time we were able to spend together, and look forward to Friday and the appointment that you have with us. And remember, if we don't make time for health and wellness, we're not going to have a choice but to make time for illness. To be proactive, preventative, and make your health and wellness a priority, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
I want to keep doing that. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Steve, and hope to see you next week. Peace to you all.